Toch Ke'Dei Dibur is a global rule that applies throughout Shas and Halacha. Essentially, Toch Ke'Dei Dibur states that if somebody makes a verbal statement, he has a certain duration after the time he finished making his statement in order to change, modify, or otherwise uproot the statement that he made. The duration of Toch Ke'Dei Dibur is She'elas Talmud L'Rav, that the amount of time it takes for a student to inquire about the welfare of his Rebbe, in which he says, Shalom Alecha Rebbe v'Moiri, peace unto you, my Rebbe and my teacher. That's an explicit quote from the Gemara in Baba Kama. Toch Ke'Dei Dibur applies in many different areas. Just as a few examples, it applies with tefillah. If a person forgot to say Hamelech HaKodesh during the 10 days of penitence, he is allowed to correct himself if it is still within the duration of Toch Ke'Dei Dibur. Second example is edus, witness, testimony. A witness is allowed to give a testimony as allowed to retract or otherwise modify his testimony if it is still within the duration of Toch Ke'Dei Dibur, of completing his testimony. A final example is Nazirus. A Nazirite declared himself to be a Nazir, and within Toch Ke'Dei Dibur, within that duration of Toch Ke'Dei Dibur, another person says, Ani, me too. And that even though he did not explicitly state what it's referring to when he said me too, since it is within the duration of Toch Ke'Dei Dibur, the second person also becomes a Nazir. The Amuday Ohr introduces to us a chakira, a fascinating analysis of Toch Ke'Dei Dibur. The Amuday Ohr analyzes and asks, is the rule of Toch Ke'Dei Dibur is that once a person finishes his statement, the Torah gives him a certain amount of time to modify that statement, to rectify or make any changes to that statement that he feels is necessary. However, the statement is completed when he finishes speaking, but the Torah gives him the opportunity to otherwise correct or modify the statement that he just made. The Amuday Ohr gives another perspective to the concept of Toch Ke'Dei Dibur. He states that in fact the entire statement is not completed until after the duration of Toch Ke'Dei Dibur has passed. When a person makes a statement, there needs to be a certain duration, a certain pause, in which he is giving his haskama, in which he is finalizing and approving his statement. So the first understanding is that his statement finishes when he finishes talking, but the Torah gives him the opportunity to rectify or make changes to his statement. Or the Amuday Ohr says that no, the actual statement that he is making is not completed until after the duration of Toch Ke'Dei Dibur, because until that point he has not finalized and completely committed himself to the statement which he just made. The Amuday Ohr bases his second understanding on the Ran, who states, Taima de milsa de Toch Ke'Dei Dibur kididu domi, that within the duration of the time of Toch Ke'Dei Dibur, it's as if he's still speaking. That until the duration of Toch Ke'Dei Dibur is completed, after he finishes his statement, he has not completed in his mind, he has not settled in his mind or finalized in his mind the statement that he made or the action that he has performed. Which means that Toch Ke'Dei Dibur is an integral part of the activity or the statement that he made. The Amuday Ohr gives a nafkamina, he gives a halachic difference between the two ways of understanding Toch Ke'Dei Dibur. A witness who is testifying, and after he completed his statement, he committed an action that disqualifies him from being a valid witness. So according to the first understanding, he still gave over his testimony. The fact that he became a Rasha during the duration of Toch Ke'Dei Dibur does not impact the testimony itself. However, according to the second understanding, since Toch Ke'Dei Dibur is an integral part of the testimony, it is considered as if he became disqualified during the testimony itself, rendering the testimony as well null and void. For further study and in-depth understanding of Toch Ke'Dei Dibur, one is strongly advised to study the Amuday Ohr Siman Tzadi Tes, who gives a fascinating and complete analysis on this fundamental topic. Thank you for listening.